Right here we have chemical formulas and we need to figure out the chemical name. So we have to decide what type of cation we have. So every time you're going to check the cation. Is it a transition metal? Yes or no? Okay. If the answer is yes, it's a transition metal, you need to find the Roman numerals. So our next question is it a basic ship or is it a crisscross? So we're looking here and we don't have any subscripts at all. So that means we know there's one iron atom for one sulfur. That means that it was basic because it was just a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay. So when we have a basic ship, we look at the charge of the anion, and that is -2 because sulfur is in group 16. And we put the opposite one for the cation. So that means iron has a +2 charge. So how do we write that? Iron with a Roman numeral 2, 2 I's for two things, and then sulfide. Remember, we do an "ide" on the end because it's an anion. So the cation has a 2 charge, and the anion is sulfide. My next guy that I have right here is zinc phosphide. Okay, so again, same question, transition metal. And in this case, zinc is in the D block, but it tends not to be a transition metal. So we know its charge is often +2. So when we see zinc there, we know we can just follow the no rules, which are write the cation and write the anion with an "ide." Okay. So write the cation's always the first guy, the anion's always the second guy. The cation is positive, cats are positive, anions are onions, they're negative. So I'm going to write the cation, zinc, and then write the anion with an "ide." So instead of phosphorus, I'm going to say phosphide. And you could have said phosphoride too, but we tend to shorten it. So Zn3P2 is zinc phosphide. Our next guy over here is copper bromine. Remember, this is big C, little u. If it was big C, big U, it would be carbon and uranium. But we know since this is lowercase, it's attached to that C. So that's copper. Is copper a transition metal? Yes. Copper is in the D block and has a varying charge or oxidation state. Okay. So what's my next question? Ship basic, or is the ship a crisscross? Well, I don't see any coefficients here, so we know it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So it's a basic ship. So then we look at the charge of the anion, and that's the opposite charge of the cation. So bromine is group 17, so he's a charge of -1. So then the opposite charge goes to copper, or a +1. Name, cation, copper. Roman numeral 1, or a single I. Name of the anion with an "ide." So bromine becomes bromide. Our last guy here, Pb3N2. What are our questions? Is he a transition metal? Yes, he is. Is he a basic or a crisscross? And we see we have numbers down here. That means we had to get those numbers. So that means we had the crisscross. So this is a crisscross. So what do we do for crisscrosses? We have to reverse the crisscross. So this 2 is going to go up here to lead. And the 3 on lead is going to go up to the nitrogen. They're going to swap spaces. But remember, these guys down here are the absolute value because they're the number of atoms. And the guys up here are charges. What do charges always need? Signs. But I don't have a hint on the number of atoms what it could be. This could be +3 or -3. This could be +2 or -2. What other hint do I have? Oh, I know, cations are always first, and cations are positive. So whoever's first in the name is going to have a positive. So what's his name? Write the cation, lead. Write the Roman numeral of the charge, 2 for 2 I's. Write the anion with the ide, lead 2 nitride.